All right, good afternoon and welcome to week 3 of YPN Takeover Month. My name is Evan Smith, LIBOR's Global Business Liaison, and it is great to be here filling in for Liana Inzarilla Werner, LIBOR's YPN Liaison. As you know, this month we are focusing on LIBOR's Young Professional Network and the many benefits, including professional growth and development. YPN is a dynamic entry point for real estate professionals striving to become more successful in their careers and gain leadership experience. That's why it's a pleasure to be here introducing today's speaker, Melinda Harris. Melinda Harris is Director of Marketing and Communications at Downpayment Resource, where she oversees the organization's marketing, communications, and public relations goals. For more than 20 years, Melinda has developed award-winning marketing campaigns, guided top-performing creative teams, and championed research and education efforts that support expanding homeownership accessibility. Melinda, I pass the mic off to you.
Thank you so much, Ethan. I appreciate it. And thanks so much to LIBOR for having us today. I'm going to share my screen really quick. I have a presentation for you guys. So if you guys don't mind, if you will just make sure, type in chat to let me know that you can see my screen. That would be great. Just a quick yes. Okay, perfect. Thank you so much. So again, I'm Melinda, or you're welcome to call me Mel Harris. I'm the Marketing and Communications Director here at DPR. Again, I want to thank LIBOR and One Key MLS for having us today so we can talk about an important topic like down payment assistance and how these programs are going to help you guys start conversations that lead to homeownership. During the session today, feel free to use chat and Q&A to ask questions if you have them. I'm going to go through the presentation and then I'll be happy to answer those at the end of the session today. So for those of you unfamiliar with Downpayment Resource, we track and monitor all of the available homebuyer assistance programs across the country. And that includes statewide programs like Sony May in New York, and then those also in your local markets. We partnered with One Key MLS to help bring awareness to the down payment solutions that are out there and available to homebuyers. And we do that by integrating into property listing data. So we're actually integrated into Stratus, and we tag listings that are eligible for assistance. And I'll go through some of that later today to show you guys what that looks like in Stratus. We also offer several additional free marketing tools and resources, which I will also cover a little bit later. And those tools include Downpayment Connect. And Downpayment Connect is free for all One Key MLS subscribers, and that is our lead gen tool, which is pretty cool. And again, I'll go over that a little bit later in the session, how you can use it and best practices there. So essentially, Downpayment Resource, we're here to provide you with tools and resources that are going to help you connect homebuyers to down payment help. Down payment assistance is still a big stopgap for home buyers, even with interest rates higher, sales prices higher. Saving for the down payment is still a pretty serious need, and down payment programs are out there and available. So we're here to help you find them. So what does Down Payment Resource cost? We get this question a lot, so I feel like it's important to share in our presentations for our MLS partners. Great news, it's free. It's offered through our partnership with One Key MLS. So there are no upsells, no freemium models, and it's all ready to go and live in Stratus right now for you to use. So first I want to start, I want to talk a little bit about down payment programs. So before we dive into the details of our integration with One Key MLS, I want to talk a little bit about down payment assistance, or DPA. So if you're not familiar at all with these programs, or if you just need a quick refresher, down payment programs, they can be loans, grants, tax credits. There are several other types of programs available, some creative financing to help eligible homebuyers. They're going to help them do several things, but mainly they're going to help them achieve their down payment faster. They're going to cover closing costs. Some programs can actually be used now for buy downs as well. And they're going to help them get into a home sooner than they may have thought possible. These programs are designed to help you get buyers off the sidelines. You're going to help them overcome that down payment obstacle. So this graphic, we do a quarterly report called the Homeownership Program Index. We just released one this month, actually. And this is a quick overview of the types of assistance programs that are available for home buyers. So there's tons of different types of assistance. Well, I say tons. There are several different types of assistance out there, but the three most common program types are the ones we'll talk about mostly today. And that's affordable first mortgages, mortgage credit certificates, which are tax credits, and then down payment assistance programs. So as you can see, down payment assistance programs make up the majority of the programs in our database. 75% of all the programs in the database out of the 2,300 plus programs we have in our database are down payment programs. And then each of these programs, the down payment programs, are going to have varying repayment terms. So some are going to be straight second mortgages. They're going to have an interest rate and you're going to have to pay them monthly. Others might be grants, and grants are wonderful because there is no repayment. So they're a true gift at closing. And then some are also going to offer deferred payments, where payments are going to be deferred for a predetermined amount of time or until there's a change in occupancy. Sometimes refinance triggers the deferred payment clause. So it just depends. But essentially, the home buyer is not going to have any payments for a predetermined amount of time. And then also you're going to have forgivable second mortgages. And that's where the loan is forgiven incrementally over a certain number of years. But the buyer is going to have to remain in the home, and it's going to have to remain the buyer's primary residency. Again, change in occupancy is going to trigger the payments, or they're going to have to make the payments or whatever when they move or close. So needless to say, down payment help is out there. This graphic, again, comes from our most recent HPI. As you can see, we have 80 programs available in New York right now. And the beauty of these programs is, even though you're in a higher cost market in New York, the great thing about these programs is they're market adjusted. And that essentially means there are plenty of programs available in your market to choose from that are compatible with your sales prices and your average household incomes. So for example, I'm in Georgia. The income requirements and the sales price requirements are going to look a lot different than programs that are available in New York. So if you have home buyers and you think they may not qualify due to income, or you have a home that you think may not qualify due to sales price, don't be surprised if it does indeed qualify, because, and we'll go over some of the limits in just a second, but these programs are adjusted for your market. So a quick dive into who offers these programs. So I talked earlier about state HFAs. So every state across the country has an HFA, or a housing finance agency. You have Sony Mae in New York. These HFAs usually offer a range of program options. So they may offer, most of the first mortgages are going to be offered through the housing finance agency. And then you have other program providers like municipalities, employers, nonprofits, et cetera. And then you may also see programs from housing authorities, CDFIs, which are community development finance institutions, federal home loan banks, land trusts, and more. And we track and monitor from all of these providers. We reach out to them monthly. So our database is actually updated monthly. We want to make sure that the data we provide is updated and accurate. So we reach out to these providers monthly. We have excellent working relationships with hundreds of program providers across the country, so that, again, we can make sure we're providing accurate information to our customers. So some current trends we're seeing with DPAs. As I mentioned before, the Homeownership Program Index is our quarterly report, and that's where we get most of the numbers that, most of the data we share. But it's a snapshot of our database each quarter. So it's where we are each quarter with the number of programs. So in that data, we've seen a very long trend in the number of programs that providers are bringing to the market to help more buyers. So we've seen a really long trend of growth in the number of programs. I can tell you over the past 2 years, every single quarter, we've seen an increase in the number of programs available, which is amazing. Affordability has been a really hot topic lately, as most of you probably know. And although a really large knowledge gap remains regarding down payment assistance, We feel like consumers are growing more and more aware of these programs. They're more talked about, they're becoming popular, so to speak. And because of that, program providers are doing a great job of increasing assistance amounts, modifying their requirements to help meet this demand. So we've seen increases in sales prices, increases in income requirements, and even increases in actual assistance amounts that they're giving away. So again, the program providers are aware of what's going on in the market, and a lot of them are making adjustments to meet that demand. So essentially, demand for DPAs is through the roof. We see new programs launch in markets, I definitely say weekly, sometimes daily. And currently, as of our latest homeownership program index, 83% of all the programs across the country are funded and available. So down payment assistance is out there. It's not going away. That's for sure. So now let's look at what's available in your market. I'll be honest, this data is actually probably a month or two old at this point, but I don't think it's changed too much. So currently we have 54 programs, 46 funded from 30 different agencies. I think we actually lost a couple of programs in the latest HPI, but those changes are made. It could have been added, could have been taken away. So some programs will come in to substitute for others. So that could be the discrepancy in the number there. But income limits are up to 159,000 statewide. So again, as you can see, these are market adjusted to fit your market. Purchase price limits up to 806,000 or higher for single family residences. And then down payment help ranges from 2,000 to 100,000 or higher. We have an average of about 20,000 in DPA in your market. And then what's really impressive for us among our MLS customers, 72% of One Key MLS's listings are eligible for DPA. That's amazing. So definitely down payment assistance is out there. Down payment assistance is there for your buyers, and don't consider that they may not qualify, because chances are they could. So, and then just a couple of notes, prices can actually be higher in targeted areas. Some programs have, they have special allocations for targeted areas. So, revitalization areas, they're trying to sell homes, trying to, uplift the area. They may have a higher sales price. They may have higher income limits. And then again, this is just for single family residences, that 806,000. So there are some programs that support multifamily housing as well. And for 4-unit, that sales price is obviously going to be quite a bit more. I will note too, on the assistance amount, that's a really tough number for us to get to, because some programs, instead of just offering a blanket dollar amount, they offer actually a percentage of the sales price. So as you can see, a percentage of 806,000 would probably be a lot more than $20,000. So that 20,000 is probably really low. In other words, is probably the average assistance amount is probably really higher, but that's a tough number for us to get to. And then another note, when we refer to eligible listings, we do that because for down payment assistance programs, both the property and the buyer have to qualify for DPA. So the property is going to have to be in the right place, at the right price. And then the buyer has to qualify, obviously, with credit and ratios and all that too, for the down payment assistance. So when we refer to eligible listings, that's what we mean. The listing, the house has to qualify for the program as well. And we do that, within the MLS. We look at property location, we look at sales price, and then we compare that to the coverage areas and the sales price limits for the program. And so that's why we say 72%. It's a large amount of listings that are available. And that's because the sales price range is really flexible actually in your area. So for program requirements, obviously program requirements are going to vary drastically among programs, but here are some universal requirements that you can see for all of the homebuyer assistance programs. So these programs are not for investors. They are for owner-occupant buyers, so the homes have to be primary residence. Most of the programs are going to have a minimum buyer investment. That can range from $500 to $1,000, or that can also even be a percent of the purchase price, but most of the programs are going to have a minimum investment for the home buyer. Most all of them are going to have home buyer education, especially for first-time home buyers, which is typically just an 8-hour course that they can take. The certificates are good for a year. So if you have a home buyer and you think they may need down payment help, going ahead and getting them into a home buyer education course is a great idea. We love these courses. We tout them all the time. They're excellent for anybody buying a new home. I wish I would have taken one, to be honest with you. And then the home buyer has to qualify for a first mortgage as well. So if they're getting down payment assistance, they're obviously going to have to qualify for that first mortgage. So now, I want to get into a little bit about down payment resources integration with OneKey MLS, and then what it looks like in Stratus and how it works. So we are integrated into Stratus. We offer the same tools and resources. We're actually integrated into Matrix and Stratus, but I know most of you are Stratus users. We offer the same tools and resources for both. But if you have any questions about, any other integrations, please let me know. But basically the way it works is eligible listings are going to be tagged with this logo that you see on the screen now. And this icon is going to appear on market listings. It's going to appear on single family detached condos and townhomes, co-ops. Like I said before, we have a lot of programs that are available for multifamily properties. We have a growing number of programs available for manufactured homes, which is wonderful. And then just to note too, DPR is fully automated. When you input a listing into Stratus, there's nothing you have to do to get our icon to display. That's all automated. We do it for you. So if you entered a new listing today and it was eligible, you would see the icon on the listing tomorrow. So we update nightly. And then this icon, if you do see it on a listing, you would just need to click on that and you can actually see what programs that property may be eligible for. So this is what it looks like in the agent single line in Stratus. So you'll see here in this column, you'll see the icon next to eligible listings. And again, if you click on that icon, you'll see which programs that property may be eligible for. Here's what it looks like in the agent detail page. There's the icon again next to find down payment help. And then the other way that you could get to us, which this is where all of our tools and resources are going to be located. But on the Stratus dashboard, there is a link to down payment resources under the OneKey MLS links. This dashboard is accessible from the homepage. If you click on that, then it's going to take you to what we call our dashboard. So this is the DPR dashboard. The DPR dashboard is where you're going to find all the available tools you have as a OneKey MLS subscriber. So all of these tools are free to you, as I mentioned before. The first thing that I want to point out, which is highlighted here in red, is the Down Payment Connect link. We're going to talk more about this in a moment, but this is where you come to find your personalized Down Payment Connect link. You come to our dashboard, and then there are instructions here as well on how to get started with the link. This is our lead generator and it's free to use, so I would highly recommend you start taking advantage of it. It's a great tool for home buyers. A couple of other important tools to note here. Our marketing resources page. This houses tons of graphics you can use in email campaigns, on social media, your website. These are graphics that you can use with your Down Payment Connect link, actually. So you post your link with these graphics. Again, social media, website, any place where you get home buyer traffic. This is going to help increase your business, but it's also going to help educate more buyers about DPA. And again, I'll talk to you a little bit more about how it works and what it is in just a second, but just wanted you guys to know where to find that link. And then another tool that I want to point out is the IDX feature. So you can also have down payment resource icon to display on your IDX site. So if you have an IDX site, we're happy to work with your IDX vendor to make it happen. But through our partnership with OneKey, you can get the icon to display on your IDX site. And we do have instructions here. But again, we're happy to work with your vendors. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us. And then another feature that I personally love is the ability to search for programs. So this search programs by name that you see on the screen, you can search for programs using the name, or you can do a search for your clients. So if you just want to learn more about down payment assistance programs in your market, rather than clicking on the icon next to a listing, you can actually come to our dashboard and do a client search for programs by name. So I feel like that's just a really great way to see what's available, Tons of information is there for you to have, including income requirements, how to get in touch with a program provider. And another great resource is we do provide links. Each of the program providers are going to have their own personal list. Most of them have their own personal list of approved or participating lenders. So the number one question we get from agents is how to find a lender that does DPA. I guarantee that question is probably in chat or Q&A right now. We get it all the time. So I did want to point out in the search results, when you're looking for programs on our site, when you're doing a client search, when you're searching for programs by name, we do include a list of the approved lenders or a link to that list. If you're looking for a lender that does DPA, this is a great place to start. Just contact one of the lenders that is currently participating with a DPA program in your market, whether that's with Sony May, your local program provider, et cetera. And they're obviously going to be informed about these programs and probably be a great resource and able to help you help more home buyers. So to focus a little bit on Down Payment Connect. So obviously I've already mentioned it a few times, but here are a couple more details so you can get started using the tool as soon as possible. Again, it's free for 1Key MLS subscribers. It's a lead generator and it's available right now for you to use on your website. Social media is a great place for this, even your email signature, whatever marketing solution works best for you, wherever you feel like you get the most traffic, marketing traffic, put your Down Payment Connect link there. It's a great way to start new conversations about home ownership, conversations about down payment assistance. Let the tool work for you. You get to engage and educate new buyers, like it says on the screen. You're going to offer them a path to down payment help. You're going to generate leads, and you're also enhancing your marketing. So essentially what Down Payment Connect is they will click on your personalized link, and it's going to take them to the search page that you see on the screen here, but it's personalized to you. So the buyer's going to fill out the information. They're going to see what down payment programs are available to them. But before they get their results, they're going to have to fill out a little bit of information, which is just name and email address and phone number, I believe. And then they'll see their results and you'll get copied on that lead. The lead comes directly to you. They don't go anywhere else. We don't keep track of them. So you're going to get an email with your buyer search results. And I will mention too, a question we get from agents a lot is, they don't know a lot about these programs and they don't know how to have conversations about these programs. We are certainly not trying to make you, down payment loan experts. We know that ultimately is a lender's job, but if you want to be knowledgeable, that's wonderful. But essentially, this is just to help you start more conversations. Like I said, with home buyers, this is to help you educate home buyers that down payment assistance is out there. And then, you get to start that conversation. And then obviously the next step is to contact a lender. But our goal is just to empower you with information so that you can help get more buyers into homes, because again, down payment is still a huge obstacle for home buyers out there. And we just want you to know down payment help is available so that that's not an obstacle for your buyers. So we do have a Facebook group. I love this Facebook group. If you're interested in finding industry pros that are interested in doing DPA business, we have a big mix of people in here. We have agents, we have loan officers, we have program providers, we have housing finance agencies. I would highly suggest you check out the group. We're seeing a lot of networking in this group, a lot of success stories. I share content in there as well. I actually manage the group. So, you get some insider content and you can be an active member in here, or you can just listen in. Either way, feel free to join. I think it's a great group with some good information. So if you haven't already, definitely join our Facebook group. And then I will leave you with, I will mention again, the number one question we get from agents is how to find an LO that works with down payment programs. The Facebook group that I just mentioned can be a great resource, but here are some other recommendations. You can leverage your experts. Look at the participating lenders that are provided in the search results when you search for programs. Sony May is a great start just because they're a state agency. And if there's a lender or a loan officer that's familiar with a state agency's programs, they're more than likely familiar with local programs as well. At least that's my experience. So Sony May's, lender list is a great place to start if you're looking for lenders that do DPA. You know, use down payment resource for all of these experts, program providers, homebuyer education providers. There's a link to that in the search results as well. So if you're looking for a homebuyer education class for your buyers, program providers have participating education courses. We include links to that. So all of the information you need to get your buyer started on the road to down payment assistance is there within down payment resource. So definitely take advantage of the tool. And then ask your peers, you know, if especially if you're new to the business, you know, ask your peers, ask your broker, see if they have any recommendations for, you know, lenders that do DPA. You know, ask program providers if you have contacts there, attend networking events, attend a home buying class. I mean, a home buyer ed class. You know, we have, I recommend all the time that agents and lenders, you know, attend home buyer education courses with your home buyers. It's a great place to network. You know, it's a great place to learn more information, and you could even potentially teach or sponsor one of these courses. So homebuyer education is again, we tout them all the time. We love the courses. They're great for home buyers, but they're also good networking opportunities for industry pros as well. And then, yeah, and see if anybody, you know, attending homebuyer ed classes is also a good way to meet loan officers and lenders that do DPA. So highly recommend those courses. And then bottom line, we see it every day, but DPA customers become customers for life. They truly do. These are the customers that you're probably going to have to take a few extra steps with, go a little bit outside of your comfort zone, maybe even to help them get into a home. But that's referral business times 1,000. They're customers for life. Going that extra mile for a home buyer who may not have been able to become a homeowner without DPA is going to help ensure repeat and referral business for you for sure. So that's essentially the end of my presentation, and I will take questions now gladly. But if you have any questions, you know, we have a ton of recorded content that we can share. You know, I'll be happy to provide LIBOR with any kind of links or, you know, video that they need about what down payment resource looks like in Stratus. So don't hesitate to reach out to us if you have any questions. We're always available at the email address that you see on the screen. And with that, I'll just say thank you again to LIBOR and One Key for having us. And then I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thanks so much, Melinda. So actually there were quite a few questions in the chat. So we could start with the first question. These, I think maybe you talked about it a little bit further on in your presentation, but are these programs only available for first-time home buyers?
That's a great question. And I'm sorry I didn't touch on it. We get that question a lot. No, to answer your question, no. And we're seeing a growing number of programs that are for repeat buyers. Currently, as of our latest HPI, almost 40% of the 2,300 plus programs we have in our system are for repeat buyers. They do not have a first-time home buyer requirement.
Wow.
So,
what is the average processing time for these programs?
You know, it depends, but a short, easy answer for that is, I think there is kind of, and not that this was implied, but I think there is kind of this like underlying current of fear that these programs are going to delay closing. That is absolutely not necessarily true at all. There is some upfront things that can be done, like getting your buyer in that home buyer education class, you know, making sure the appraisal is done, things like that, that can help speed up the process. But these loans, we've had agents tell us they've closed loans with DPA in 2 weeks. So it really just depends. But just again, the broad answer, does it delay closing? No, it does not make an automatic delay. No.
So in terms of like a timeline, should you apply for one of these programs? You know, when should you apply, or is there the best time to apply for one of these programs?
So most of the time you're going to need a property address. So and you know, a buyer qualifying for these programs is going to coincide with qualifying for the first mortgage. So, you know, I would just that's the great thing about like Down Payment Connect. If you start talking to your home buyer early about their down payment needs, then you'll know what their needs are. So immediately when they go and talk to a loan officer about pre-approval, you can know they need down payment help so they can get that pre-approval, in the process as well.
Okay,
So
actually,
that's really all it takes.
I
Yeah.
was going to ask if there was like a pre-qualification or something like that you can do to, like, I guess, be sure that if someone is maybe buying out, more than what they are able to afford at that point, at least they know that they're most likely going to get approved for the program.
Yeah, and again, that goes back to finding a loan officer who is really knowledgeable about these programs. They're going to have a good idea of how it works and what the qualification, whether or not that borrower is going to be able to qualify.
Okay. Another question from the Q&A. They mentioned that some lenders don't want to work with these programs. Why? Do you have any insight on why there's maybe a negative idea about these programs? Maybe because of like the delayed closings or whatever you maybe mentioned.
Trying to think of a politically correct way to say that. So essentially it comes down to how much money is made on the loans. And, sometimes I'm not speaking for all lenders here by any stretch of the imagination. I'm just speaking vague, umbrella like, but yeah, sometimes these loans just monetarily aren't worth it for some lenders. So they don't adopt, an affordable housing initiative. I have my own personal feelings on that. But yeah, unfortunately, I do wish more loan officers would, would take the time and really their missed opportunities. I mean, we did, I'll just say right now, we did a recent analysis where we analyzed HMDA data up against our database. And we found that of the loans that were rejected, we looked at declined loans, and of the loans that were declined for either ratio or cash to close, 33% of those loans could have closed with down payment assistance. So a third, of loans, home buyers missed out, which, that's unfortunate. So
in terms of like the application process, is it just like filling out a form and submitting it, or is it complicated, for lack of a better term?
It's not complicated. It's very much so like qualifying for first mortgage. So, again, it's like once the loan officer has, you're going to be looking at credit, you're going to be looking at ratios, you're going to be looking at income, you're going to be looking at assets, all the things you would look for in a first mortgage. Typically, you're going to be doing the same exact thing for these DPA programs.
When you spoke about the link, if someone was to put it on their social media account, is there any way to know who clicks on the link? Is there like a QR code that can be added to the business cards?
So as far as social media, I'm sure there are certain analytics that you can look at through social to see who's clicking on the link. But if the buyer goes through the process, if they click on your link, they fill out the information, submit the form, you're going to actually get the lead in your inbox. So whatever email the agent has on file with the MLS, that's where the leads are going to go. So as far as just someone clicking on the link, that would probably be up to, social media analytics. And then QR codes, we don't provide that, but there are tons of free sites that you can create a QR code with. And I've done it myself. I've seen other agents do that. It's a great idea, create one for your Down Payment Connect link and use it on your site or on your business cards, collateral, etc. Great idea.
QR codes are so funny because I think maybe they were phasing out at one point, but because of COVID with the menus, now everyone's using them again.
Yes, I know. It is. I totally agree. I've actually had a conversation like that not too long ago with another coworker, and I was saying the exact same thing. But yes, very popular again.
Yeah.
And useful. We use them at trade shows and events.
Anne asks, is there a customer service number for agents to use to contact DPR?
Yeah, you know what? I'm going to type our email address in chat really quick, but it is info@downpaymentresource.com. I monitor that email as well as 2 other people on our team. So if you have any questions at all, whether it's from how we work in the MLS to specific program questions, just let us know. But yeah, that's a great email address, and we'll get back to you as soon as we can.
And I know that we before the webinar we were talking that DPR there are multiple offices. So what are the hours for customer service? Is it like 24/7? Is it like 9 to 5 but in Colorado?
Yeah. I'd say it's probably, I say you're safe for 8:30 to 5:30, something like that, East Coast.
Sure.
So yeah.
I know that you briefly touched upon that each of the programs are pretty unique, but are there any like general minimum requirements to be eligible for a down payment assistance program?
Unfortunately, no. And the reason for that is if we're talking about down payment programs, so we're talking about second mortgages, the first mortgage requirements are also going to play a part in that. So there's different credit score requirements, for example, for HFA versus, conventional versus VA. And then a program, a down payment program might actually have their own set of credit requirements. So unfortunately, no, it's hard to generalize that. But again, know that, and there are even programs out there that don't have income requirements, that don't have sales price requirements. So they vary greatly. But the thing I would say most importantly to know is most everything the home buyer needs to apply and be approved for a first mortgage, they're going to take that into consideration for the second as well. So they're going to look at credit, chances are, like I said, ratios, income, etc.
Back to the customer service question for a second. Is there a phone number also besides the email address?
We don't have like a main customer service phone number, but whoever responds, you're definitely going to get their phone number. I'm happy to share my contact information. As a matter of fact, I'll put it here. My personal phone number is, I'll put it in chat. You're welcome to reach out to me and call. Whatever works best for you. But yeah, like I said, we have several people monitoring that info at address. So whoever replies, you probably would be in touch with. But
I apologize for the 20 questions. I knew that this was going to be
I love questions. No, it was great.
I knew that this was going to be a popular topic. We have a few more.
That's great.
Back to the MLS search. You had spoke about the dollar icon. Can you go over that again?
Yeah, that's just our graphic. But essentially, if you click on that, if you're doing a property search, if you're looking at listings in Stratus, if you click on that icon, it's going to show you what that listing may be eligible for. So it's going to give you a list of programs. And I'm sorry, I can't show that to you live today. I believe we have a recorded webinar that we've done with One Key in the past where we actually did go over that. So even I can try to clip that part out and send it to you. Maybe that might be worth sharing if you guys don't have it already. But yeah, if you click on that icon, when you're looking at listings, that's how we tag listings. That's how you know where we are. That's how you know a listing is eligible for down payment help. And then when you click on that icon, you're going to see the list of programs. And there's other information included there as well, ways to contact the program provider, some of the requirements. Then you have the ability to click, I think it says next steps, to find out even more information. So.
Questions are slowing down a little bit. I have two more for you.
Okay.
Does your program work with NACCA program?
With NACA. Esme, if you don't mind emailing, I don't have an answer for that one. I have heard of NACA, but I don't know if NACA is currently in our database. So Esme, if you don't mind just shooting a quick email to that info@downpaymentresource.com address, I'll get that answer for you. And I'm sorry, I don't have it. But yeah, we'll find that out for you.
Okay. And I think the last question is, are these programs available nationwide in all the 50 states?
They are. There is a program available in every single state. There is a state housing finance agency in every state, even Hawaii. There are programs across the country. Like I said, we have, I think the exact number was 2,373 as of second quarter 2023 programs available across the country. So yeah, they're everywhere.
Oh, definitely really impressive. Thank you so much for your presentation today on that. If there are any questions, please enter them into the chat now. But if not, I think we're good to end and say goodbye to everyone. Thanks so much again for being here, Melinda.
Thank you guys. Thanks to LIBOR and for One Key for having us. We really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Hope that everyone can join us next week for our next webinar, Wednesday at 12 p.m. Have a great day. See everyone later.
Thank you.